Hello and welcome to PowerUp PE Part 1, Organizational Management, Interdisciplinary Activities, and Using Technology, brought to you by the Rhode Island Public Health Institute. My name is Dr. Kim Gans, and I am a professor of Human Development and Family Studies at the University of Connecticut, an adjunct professor at the Brown University School of Public Health, and the director of the PowerUp PE project. I'm joined by Susan Donovan, a physical education professional who has over 35 years experience working in this field. We are excited to be with you today to share a collection of new tools and resources designed to help phys ed teachers address some of the challenges they face and increase the amount of time their students spend being physically active in PE class. PowerUp PE is especially well suited for those schools with limited access to space, equipment, and training. As many of you know, regular physical activity helps improve overall health and fitness, reduces the risk for many chronic diseases, and helps both children and adults feel better mentally and emotionally. Recent studies have also found that physical activity may help to improve students' academic achievement, concentration, and classroom behavior. Physical education increases children's daily physical activity and therefore is an important channel for improving the well-being of children. This toolkit was created with funding from the Active Living Research Program of the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, a long and avid supporter of programs, policies, and environments that help children be more physically active. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommends that all school-age children participate in 60 minutes or more of physical activity each day. Yet national surveys have shown that very few children meet these recommendations. In an effort to improve children's health, many states, including Rhode Island, have passed laws requiring schools to increase the amount of time students spend being physically active. However, we have learned from experience that laws and policies without training and technical assistance are unlikely to achieve the desired results. In many schools, physical education and recess have been reduced because of increasing educational requirements and financial difficulties. Since the No Child Left Behind Act was passed in 2001, 44% of schools report cutting down time from PE and recess, increasing time for academic subjects like reading and math. A national evaluation by the CDC in 2006 found that 4% of elementary schools, 8% of middle schools, and 2% of high schools offered daily physical education. 22% of schools did not require students to take any physical education. However, findings from our previous research show that the approach used by PowerUp PE is an effective, evidence-based way to help increase physical activity in schools. In previous research conducted at Brown University with the support of Active Living Research and the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, it was found that an intervention providing resources and technical assistance to PE teachers in several Rhode Island elementary schools increased physical activity among students, improved knowledge among teachers and principals, and the PE activities were greatly enjoyed by students. PowerUp PE takes the lessons from that research and makes them accessible to all PE teachers at no cost. Our goal with PowerUp PE is to provide PE teachers with a collection of tools and resources to help them improve the quality of their PE classes, as well as the amount of time students spend being physically active in class. Based on the feedback we received from a survey with PE teachers in Rhode Island, we have also included information to assist you in incorporating the required student assessments and evaluations into your PE classes. Since we know that many PE teachers, especially those working in low-resource schools, often have limited space or equipment, all of the activities were designed to work in these settings and address these challenges. All of these resources are available at no cost on our website, www.riphi.org, under Programs. I will now turn the microphone over to Susan Donovan, who is going to talk about some strategies for organizational management, interdisciplinary activities, and using technology during PE class.
Hello, my name is Susan Donovan. As a PE professional, I know how challenging it can be to keep students moving and physically active throughout class while you are also trying to include the numerous required teaching and evaluation activities. Included in this toolkit are some strategies to help organize your classes while still keeping kids moving, as well as some new technologies that you can use to help students assess and improve their own performance. We have also included some ideas for how you can incorporate other subject areas like math and literacy into your PE classes. This first section focuses on techniques for organizing the flow of activities to allow more time for active play. Organizing and streamlining activities helps you maximize class time, and it also allows students to apply newly learned skills in a safe and orderly environment. Let's go over some of these organizational techniques. From birth on, children begin using their bodies to explore and learn about their world. As children grow, they rely heavily on the physical interactions in their environment. Activities that promote motor skill development while keeping children active and engaged are essential for growth and the prevention of obesity. The activities you're about to see are designed to help your students accomplish these goals regardless of the resources you have at your disposal. Many can be performed easily in a very small space, and we offer alternatives if equipment is limited. We keep the directions simple so that more time can be devoted to keeping the kids moving. You'll find more information on each of these activities in your toolkit. We're going to do a few animal walks, and if you want to know what the animal walk looks like, you can look up there at the picture. Students can explore spatial orientation, balance, and body coordination while working various muscle groups with activities such as animal walks from what we like to call home base. And go home! See how fast we can get there. Who remembers what the bear walk looks like? Bear walks, seal walks, lizard walks, these are activities that encourage unusual movements in a way that the kids really enjoy. Simple ball handling is another way students can explore the space around them. Let's just do a little toss and a catch. Try not to let the ball drop. Home! Children can be instructed to toss the ball and clap their hands while walking around the room, or toss and touch their shoulders without dropping the ball. This activity is ideal for small spaces.
Who can tell me where Oscar the Grouch lives on Sesame Street?
Oscar the Grouch is a great cooperative activity to show children the proper way to step and throw a ball, starting with feet together and taking one step forward to throw. To begin the activity, you can make your own homemade trash can out of exercise mats or cardboard appliance boxes. The idea behind this game is to have the kids throw a yarn ball inside the trash can, while a group of kids on the inside of the can try to throw the ball back out. Each student should throw only one ball at a time. At the end of each activity, you also have an opportunity to encourage critical thinking or use this game as an assessment activity. Check out our video on assessment tools for more examples.
Who thinks it was easier to either be inside of the trash can or out in open space, and why? Which one was easier? You were inside, there wasn't as much space inside, there was less people, but there was also less space to cover.
Tag games are a great way to engage students of all ages while teaching important movement concepts and locomotor skills. Ghostbusters tag is a great activity to use around Halloween. The 3 Ghostbuster taggers will try to tag as many of the other students or ghosts as possible. Once a ghost gets tagged, they will be sucked into the ghost trap or hula hoop, where they will remain until they are able to spin it around themselves 10 times. It doesn't need to be 10 times in a row, just 10 times total.
What muscles in your body do you have to use to keep that hula hoop going round and round? These muscles right here, these core muscles, have to work really hard. You're going around in a circle, right?
For the game Rescue Rings, students tag other student swimmers with a fleece ball. Rescuers use hula hoops to rescue fellow swimmers.
Swimmers, when you're moving, you can do some swimming strokes with your arms, however you want to move.
Rescue Rings is a wonderful way to work on cooperation while keeping the kids continuously active. Deck rings are small rubber rings that in this game can be used to practice eye-foot skills indoors and are suited for smaller spaces. Bean bags may be substituted for deck rings.
When I blow that whistle, you're going to be moving.
The idea behind this game is to dribble the ring or beanbag and trap or stop on cue. Juggling allows the student to practice eye-hand skills using a slow-moving object. These activities are also conducive to smaller spaces. Juggling plastic bags may be used in place of scarves.
Start off just practicing tossing and catching with the opposite hand for a little bit. If I see you passing it under the wrong way, I'm going to try to break that bad habit right away.
Juggling activities are good practice at crossing the midline. These skills transfer well back into the classroom during fine motor skill activities such as writing across the page. Cooperation is the focus of the tagging game 1, 2, 3, We're Free. It requires 2 students to work together to free each tagged child.
We're going to play 1, 2, 3, We're Free tag. If you get tagged, you're going to stand with your hands on your waist, okay, and somebody needs to help you. You come by and you stand next to them and you say, 1, 2, 3, we're free.
Students will have to work hard to make sure the taggers do not gain the upper hand. Don't be surprised if the taggers become winded trying to keep up in this aerobic activity. In my experience, students love this game. Every few minutes, switch out who gets to be the taggers. This ensures that everyone gets a chance to be the tagger. This cooperative balance and posture game can be played in a small space as well as in a larger room. It's a perfect game to play around the winter holidays because the students can pretend that they are any kind of toy they wish. They can be wooden soldiers, ballerinas, robots, whatever their imagination chooses. Students are given a beanbag, or you can even use a blackboard eraser as a pretend battery to balance on the head. When the music starts, they get to move like the toy they chose, but if the battery slips from their head, they become frozen. If another student picks up their battery without dropping their own and places it back on their head, the frozen student can move again.
Our battery's been on our head all this time. We're going to try and put it on a different part of our body.
Batteries can be balanced on the arm, the hand, the shoulder, or the forearm. Cooperative balance games help children develop kinesthetic feedback.
Did you think it was harder to balance the battery on your head or on your arm? Head? How many people thought head? Raise your hand if you thought your head was hard.
Alphabet Soup is a cooperative game and may also be played in a smaller space. In between instructions, the students are performing various locomotor or aerobic skills.
So I want you to make the letter A.
Remember, wrap-up is a good time to encourage critical thinking.
How about what movement was the hardest for you guys to do?
The chicken dance combines locomotive skills with various movement tasks during the refrain.
So it's the chicken, the wings, the wiggle, and 4 claps. Think you got that?
When the music stops, you can use this time to instruct the students to do additional movements such as high-fiving as many students as possible, touching elbows with as many students as possible, or doing half jacks or crab kicks.
Okay, high fives, go. How many?
This next section focuses on using technologies as a self-assessment tool for student physical performance. Technology allows unique opportunities to use assessment techniques that keep students active while providing opportunity for evaluation. Let's see how technology can be incorporated into this process. Most all of the activities in this video series and its corresponding toolkit can be easily assessed through teacher observation. However, there are many ways technology can play a part. In this video, we'll show you some ways to integrate tablets, iPads, and smartphones into your lesson plan to assist in student assessment. If you are lucky enough to have a computer and overhead projection system, you can use them to complement the lesson delivery. You'll find sample slides and PowerPoints for projection included in the toolkit. An iPad or smartphone is a great way to record students' progress during a lesson and may also be used to engage the student in critical feedback on a specific skill.
So we're going to be able to take a look and see how you're doing just by looking at your video on the iPad. And then if you see something, a mistake that maybe you've made or something that you want to try and do differently when you're dribbling, you can try it on the second time around.
When students are able to see what their dribbling looks like, it's much easier for them to improve their form. A computer with an overhead projector can project any number of images onto a wall. This gives the students a visual context for the activity.
Who remembers what the bear walk looks like? What does the bear walk look like? Can you show the class?
In your toolkit, you'll find sample graphics you can use during lessons involving locomotor skills, animal walks, balances, and student and partner stunts. Students may be employed to help partners practice and assess skills during class activities. Stations may be set up and an assessment tool provided to the student pairs.
She does it, I check her off, I take my turn, she checks me off. Nice job, Megan. And we move on to the next mat.
As they rotate through the stations, students will continue to check each other's progress acquiring skills listed on a clipboard. An assessment example is provided in the toolkit. There are many activities that are conducive to assessment during class participation.
And this time, instead of running, you're going to be skipping. Everybody's skipping. The Ghostbuster taggers will skip, and the ghosts will skip.
The teacher chooses a specific skill and takes note of the students who are having difficulty. This method eliminates the time it takes having individuals perform one at a time for the instructor, which takes away from valuable group activity time.
We're going to put our feet together. We're going to point with our opposite hand. We're going to step, and we're going to throw. Excellent job.
Be sure to have your class list and the assessment tool handy during these activities or games. An example of some of these assessments are included in the toolkit. This final section looks at incorporating subject matter from other disciplines into physical activity routines. This approach supports development in subjects such as math or literacy while keeping students physically active. Let's look at ways in which we can incorporate additional subject matter into your physical education curriculum. This video will provide you with some ideas for what we call interdisciplinary activities. There are lessons that keep students active and moving while teaching them specific skills in other subject areas such as math, literacy, science, or social studies. In your toolkit, you'll find numerous lesson plans that include objectives linked to the subject areas as well as some common core standards. You'll find most of the activities are ideal for small spaces, and we provide ideas for equipment alternatives. The Virginia Reel can stand alone as a rhythmic activity or as part of a social studies unit in any of the grades that cover colonial times. It is an example of a contra dance, where two lines of participants face one another to dance.
This was George Washington's favorite activity. They would get together and they would do the Virginia Reel.
After watching the parts demonstrated, the students then practiced the dance parts with a partner. Sharing information about the history of the dance helps keep the students engaged while staying physically active. Tinikling originates from the Philippine Islands and is a great way to expose the students to a lesson in geography and social studies.
Tinikling is from a place called the Philippines. Does anybody know what ocean is around the Philippine Islands?
Tinikling also requires the kids to keep count while keeping a rhythm going. Students can challenge themselves by making up moves and routines to perform. Heart Attack Tag provides continuous movement for your students while at the same time teaching them about the risk factors of heart disease and the benefits of healthy life choices.
A risk factor could be smoking. Another risk factor could be being a couch potato or a video game potato. What do I mean by that?
The object of the game is to collect as many healthy hearts from the cupids in the time allotted while avoiding the tagger, who is one of the risk factors of heart disease. Students who are tagged run over to the teacher and hand over one healthy heart and do the rehab exercise assigned. You don't need to do the exercise if you have a free pass in your possession. These free passes encourage the students to read the healthy foods and healthy activities printed on the healthy hearts. Body Part Math is a cooperative activity that challenges students to use algebraic thinking and knowledge of number operations as they solve the problem before them.
18 hands! 18 hands!
The object of the game is to form groups using the correct number of body parts. In between problems, they are performing an aerobic activity to get their brain ready to work. This letter and number formation game is a cooperative activity that challenges the younger student to think about shapes and levels.
Stop. 2 elbows. Find a partner.
After performing an aerobic movement, the teacher calls out a letter or number. In their assigned group, the students form the shape on the floor using their bodies. They can be lying down, sitting, squatting, or standing, depending on the level at which they wish to form the shape. Did you like what you saw today? For more information, be sure to visit www.riphi.org. There you will gain full access to our videos as well as to a toolkit that contains full lesson plans, assessment tools, music suggestions, and more.
Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback about this webinar, feel free to email us at info@riphi.org. Also, be sure to check out our Part 2 of this webinar series entitled Productive Motor Skills Development.